lovely people. Today I am playing on my Xbox and we are doing a couple of things. Well, we're doing one thing, we're just doing it more than one time. Kind of. So, I have a base to show you that I love, but I will warn you, it is another mostly spring base because I have an addiction. And I can't help it. I choose not to help it because spring is amazing. I definitely have to bring you some bases that aren't spring. But at least other people have provided you with non-exclusive spring bases. Anyway, before we go and look at my base that I've made that is spring that I think is amazing, you may or may not agree, that's fine. We're going to actually have a look at something my friend did. So I have a friend who I play with on DC almost every day, because he's my best friend and that's what we do. And he has done something that I thought was really clever and looks really great, but he's only just started. I asked him if I could show you guys because I think it's really clever and I think other people will want to do it too. So we're going to go have a look at it. So this is his base with my dancing Catwoman. And he has done an amazing job of the downstairs. Now he just used what he had. It's down here. So this is what he did. And I love it so much. So we've got like the sand from summer, the trees from spring, the path from summer. That's his character there. His character is clearly the Riddler. Okay. But I just thought it was so beautiful. Like, the fact that he has this particular base as well is just, it suits it so much. And it's really like, I wouldn't have even chosen the orange netted balls with the pink flowers because I would have thought they'd clash. But he'd put them in here and I was like, that's so beautiful. And then he grabbed some extras and added them in because it looked so good. And we've got them along the path. So I wanted to show you guys, it's clearly not complete. Like, he's just put down the base, I was going to say base framework, but I mean the whole thing is a base. The basic items that need to be there, and I think more is going to happen. But for the moment, isn't it so clever to combine the sand and the path with the cherry blossoms? I love it so much. It's just beautiful. So I thought I would show you guys before we go and have a look at my spring base because I'm nabbing this idea and I am going to do this somewhere and make a gorgeous garden that looks just like this. But better, you know. Maybe. We don't know. But I love it. And then he's got like a bedroom down this end. And he's got the petals falling as well from those trees, gives it a really lovely ambience. He's added a little bit of furniture in here so that it's like a room but still kind of open, which I really like. And then bathroom down here, which is clearly incomplete. It just currently has a shower, a very nice shower, but still only just a shower. So we need some more furniture in here. We need some more furniture. But for now, I just wanted to show you guys how clever it is because I really, really like it. And I thought it was really smart. And I would not have thought of it. I'm the kind of person who needs to really start thinking about combining things together from different events. Because up until just recently with other people making beautiful bases that I want to copy, I have tended to go, that's my summer base, that's my spring base, that's my Halloween base, and not really combined those things together like this, and I would like to. Because it's amazing, it just looks beautiful. It's just lovely. So, I know that is a very brief thing to show you, but I just thought I'd get that done at the start because I'm so proud, it looks so good. I'm not proud of me, it's not my base, it's his base, he did a great job. And I think it's so smart. And even though it's incomplete, it just seems really serene, with the exception of that sound. Otherwise, it's just really serene and beautiful, and I thought other people might think this was a good idea too and want to copy, so I thought I'd show you. Anyway, in order to go and have a look at the base I'm going to show you, I will be swapping characters. I actually don't remember if this character has access to that base, but I would rather go across to the character who the base belongs to, because if I see anything I've made a mistake with, I will jump into decorator mode and fix it before you guys see it. But I don't think I did. This base is 100% full. It's got 700 out of 700 items. Though I will say I've seen people do a better job with 700 items than what I've done here. But I'm still pretty proud of it. I'm hoping you guys really enjoy it too. And yeah, let's go have a look. I mean what I say though. I really will make some bases, and I actually do have some. They're just incomplete. Some bases that are not just spring. I wish I finished my summer one. I didn't get to play enough DC in order to get the furniture items that I needed to complete my summer base that I was doing. So it's nearly there. It's just not quite there yet. So we'll have to wait. All right. I hate the sound of the flies. But in order to put the flower in, we're going to get the sound of the flies. And when I do the decorating, I don't have the sound on. So we don't notice the flies. But we do now. All right. So this is my base. I did nab the idea of using the aquarium windows inside of my spring base from Kaitlynn, who had that beautiful Sunstone Lodge where she did this. And I thought, that's brilliant. I'm going to put it in. So I only just put that in here, even though this base was mostly done, because I thought it was so smart. Anyway, let's try to get out of that. There we go. All right, so this is where you enter. We've got the ponds up here on the right-hand side, the bees over there, some statues, and of course, aquarium window, as I mentioned, with the mushrooms that are there that are glowing. So I'm going to go over to the right first, because that is an enclosed area, and then the path goes around the other way. So we'll head this way first. You can see I've got statues. I've got the flowers as part of the floor, and then that one there is the butterfly one as well. I put a couple of statues in because I wanted this place to feel like it had a kind of a purpose, and preceding them being in here, it didn't really seem like it. So we've got those, and of course the waterfall walls going down and a beehive over here, and I've placed that in the window. One of the things, in the window, I've placed the window on the wall. I know how English works. One of the things I tend to always do, I will say, is place that waterfall rock piece underneath that window all the time, because I think they look like they go together really well, and it also makes it a little less disconnected. So I find when I just put the window there and a pool of water or something underneath for the water to flow into, they look like two different pieces, but when I add the rock piece in, it looks like they're kind of attached to the pool at the bottom and they go together. So that might just be all in my own head, but I do it all the time and I love it. So I think it just looks really pretty. You can see I've got the skull mossy rocks things in here. I will say, if you pay close enough attention, you will notice that they are actually placed in order to fill gaps. So I kept them till last almost, and as I put all of my ground items in place, all the flooring and the ponds, they were what salvaged my gaps. I popped them in so that they could close it and make it look like there wasn't any floor underneath there, and it just kept going. So you'll notice it's a little obvious in a couple of areas, but I didn't have a choice. I only have 700 spaces and I've used all of them. I had to do something. Anyway, you can see I have the corpse flower here, and then they flow up the wall as well, next to the glowing mushrooms. I put the glowing mushrooms there because it overlaps on the aquarium window and kind of made that place look like it joined together. When I didn't have it there, it looked like a very clear separation of here is the aquarium, here are the corpse flowers, and I didn't want it to look like that, so that's why that's there. I have a mishmash in here of the cherry blossom trees. Well, I mean, they are flowers too, but you know what I mean. And the oak ones, because when I got to this section, this was actually the last section that I did. It's not quite true. This and the upstairs are the last sections that I did. I did the downstairs and the back room, because this is the Brainiac Base, first. And then I did the front sections. So this was what I had left. You can see on the ceiling that I have the cherry blossoms kind of covering it. I wanted to make it look like the trees are reaching across and we're under a canopy. It's not 100% successful, because if you do look up, you can see through them. But I think it's done well enough that it feels like enclosed and like I'm outdoors if I don't look up too hard. I also put the moon window here. I forget, it's called a moon window? I'm not sure, but it's my favorite. I love it. And I thought it looked really good above the window and also just above the pool. I thought it was really pretty. All my favorite pieces. Actually, no, I can't say that. My favorite furniture items are actually Halloween ones. It's just that spring has more that I like, and Halloween has pieces that I like more. So, wait, I have to finish my Halloween bases. I have multiple, and none of them are complete to show you guys yet. I need to get them done. That's next on the agenda, try to get those completed. Some of them actually may have enough furniture to complete them, but I haven't put it out yet. So, I can't remember. I have a lot of characters, guys, a lot of bases to organize. You know, there's just not enough hours in the day, really. All right, then over here, I disguised this section by filling it with stuff. We've got an oak tree. We've got vines on the wall hidden inside there.
No, that is called hanging ivy And yes, I do realise I have missed the opportunity to use my ivy mug, but it's too late now.
We have glowing mushrooms, of course. I've got the willow trunk in there as well. More vines on that wall. And then I grabbed a branch, I think, from the oak and chucked it on that wall so that it's coming out there as well, beside the tree, so that it looks like it's, I don't know, overgrown inside there. So I was trying to hide what's in there, which I think I did a pretty good job of hiding it. It's not bad, you know. Then this I put here to disguise the ground. We're not going to talk about that. Then, of course, we've got glowing mushrooms over here, more corpse flower. I did try to keep those things in the same general area so that, you know, there was a little bit of cohesion as to where the plants are growing. But I will admit, this last room, I had to put a little bit of a mishmash because I had used up everything that I was trying to make coherent. And here I had to try to make things flow with what I had left over. So I think it works. But I do think it could have been better if I was purchasing everything that I wanted rather than using what I had. You can see I've also used the, is it called trellis? I think it's called trellis, around this pillar so that you couldn't see the pillar and it looks more like plant. And then around on the back of it, I've put another one of those windows because I just thought it looked so beautiful and it covers up that pillar to make it look like we're still outside. I will say the water flowing part doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're just going to ignore that, okay? We hit it with a skull. We hit it with a skull that is definitely not there to disguise the floor that was exposed. Or maybe that's exactly why it's there. But I still like it there. I think it looks good and keeps us feeling like we're outside. Then, as you can see, we have more waterfall walls in here. I actually don't remember. I think it's called Stonewall Cascade. They're actually my favorite wall in the game. Even though they're only useful in very specific circumstances, that's my favorite wall in the game, and I think it's beautiful. And I will just show you the little seat over here and how I've disguised that amenity with an oak tree. Above it, of course, another window into the sky. Isn't it beautiful? And the ceiling is just covered with more cherry blossom and oak canopies so that it looks like we're outdoors. I did my best, I will say. In some areas, it's noticeable that we are in the Brainiac Base, but I had limited supplies and limited space, so we just went with it. And by we, I mean me. I did it. But I think we'll go into this back room next. You can see I've got a couple of crystals here from Valentines that have absolutely nothing to do with spring. See, look! I'm using things that don't have to do with spring. I don't know that 2 single items count like that. There's other pieces. You'll see. I don't think this counts. I think this is definitely a spring base. I really can't say anything else much is going on in here. But in this hallway, I tried to make it look like we were still outdoors, but I did run out of stuff to put on the walls. I was actually going to put aquarium along this wall, but I didn't have enough, so no. So I'm hoping it kind of feels like an overgrown cave. I have got trees in here, you can see, so that this canopy over the top, oh, that's a bit close. What am I looking through? Oh, the edge of the pond. Let's back up. I have got trees in here so that the canopies that I put on the ceiling inside made sense, and it still seemed like we're inside of a cave where trees have actually grown. Don't explain to me why that doesn't make sense. I already know it doesn't make sense, but I had to do it anyway. Because of reasons. And there's my favorite wall again, the cascade. Then I've got firefly grass all through here and vines. Squishy! Hello, Squishy! They don't come out of here. I thought that was interesting. I kind of expected... There's 2 in here. I kind of expected them to, like, run around the whole base. Because they do in my Atlantis base that I have for my water character, which is incomplete! Or I would show you. I have 1 Squishy, and he runs everywhere. But these 2, for some reason, don't come through. Which is good. They stay in the place where I put them. It's supposed to make sense with them in here. So, he's so cute! Anyway, I obviously have different vines on the wall. Hello! Look at you, you're so cute. Aren't they adorable? They are so not DC. But I love them anyway. I don't care. I came from Elder Scrolls. I mean, they're awesome. But yes, vines on the wall that I had left over. And climbing ivy just there. I think I called the ivy inside the other room vine, didn't I?
Yes, you did. That's exactly what you did. And we are all very disappointed in you. But let's be honest. Not surprised.
It's ivy. These are the vines. My bad. Sorry. Sometimes I say the wrong thing.
Yeah, sometimes.
I will try not to do that. Hello, Squishy! Okay, so then you come into this section here, and He's getting right in the camera there. He wants all the attention. Who could blame him? He gets the attention all the time, though, so, you know. I wanted it to look like this place had kind of become run down and fallen apart, as though it had previously been something to do with the Star Sapphires. But, I don't know which way to start. We'll go this way first. You can see more ponds, more cascade walls. My little mushroom friend. Hello, Squishy! I've got mushrooms, glowing mushrooms everywhere. Now, I do realize I put glowing mushrooms with my mushroom men, but I had more of them and they looked better in this area, especially with how large they are and the fact that they glowed. And because they went with these stones that I've got over here, the sunstone stones, they looked like they were meant to be here. And I wanted this place to look like it had been something and is now overgrown, which I think I've succeeded at. I will say I'm a little disappointed I can't add a whole bunch of ivy to these walls. There just isn't enough space for it. I've already filled my 700 quota, but I did the best I could. If you don't look up, you don't notice so much. But he's adorable. I also have this. Oh, and I hit the statues because I wanted the globes to kind of look like just glowing globes. I think it worked. This one's a little more visible though, but we're not gonna talk about that. No. All right, then I've got the stepping stones here up onto this platform that's floating above the water, which I love. I nearly did a Kaitlynn and had it floating above the mushrooms, but I liked it above the water more in here because the mushrooms are kind of where my mushroom men live, you know? So I went with this, which I still really like. But I did like Kaitlynn's idea too. There's just too many good ideas. You can't do them all in one base. You know, that's why you need 120 bases. Actually, technically, I think I have more than 120 bases because 120 is my character count. And a good chunk of my characters have multiple bases. There's a couple who don't have a base yet, though. I have too many. I don't want... Let's not think about that. Let's not... My brain doesn't need that right now. We're good. Then I've got the blooming chair right here. I'm not a huge fan of these seats because they take up a large amount of space. But because it was here out in the open and I had a gap in the ground, I chucked it there and thought, yes, someone could sit in here, you know. It totally makes sense. It could be there. That's fine. Then I've got the floating waterfall type thing here over the top of the water because I felt that also made sense. And I like it. I like anything with the flowing water, honestly. It's like one of my favorites of my favorites because I love spring, but the water stuff is my favorite. It really is. Okay, Squishy. No, wait, Squishy is my favorite. We all know Squishy is my favorite. Alright, then over this side, we've got a corpse flower again. I was covering up the ground again. But we won't mention that. No. Then I've got another waterfall stone there over the top of this miniature pool. Another seat and another corpse flower hiding the ground. Then a bunch more mushrooms because this is where the other Squishy stands. One stands over there. One stands over here. And so this is his spozzy. And I also put, and I'm a little disappointed because I have a bunch of eggs that I had ready for this area, but I didn't have enough space, so I haven't collected them. But I was going to put some eggs around the bottom of this and make it look like there had been a large burst of creatures in this cavern that was previously a something. You know? Like maybe pets or something to ride or experiment on. I don't know. But I wanted to have a bunch of eggs and I didn't have the space, so... I must admit, I probably could have done with less crystals to make it work down below, but I loved the crystals, especially when you look from the doorway, like over here. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. When I look into this room, seeing the crystals up there, I thought looked really beautiful, and I was like, I'm not moving them. I'm just not. I would love to be able to cover the entire ceiling with those, and cover the entire walls, upper half of the walls with ivy, but 700 out of 700 I can't. I wish they would increase the limit. Please. But I am really happy with how it looks up there and I didn't want to change it. And then, of course, I've got more mushrooms over here because mushroom men live in here and it made sense. And also I needed to cover the ground. So, yeah. And then I have got the Star Sapphire symbol up there, which... I was hoping made it still look like, you know, as I said, a place that was something that is no longer that something and has been overgrown because I've got those walls covering the front of it. I would like to cover it in ivy. Unfortunately, we can't do that. But I will also say the majority of the trees in here, in fact, technically all of the trees in here are cherry blossom. I wanted the petals falling, and the only one that isn't is this one, but that's because I wanted the floating ground, not because of the tree. So we've got some random tree in here, but the rest are all cherry blossom in here. I wanted the petals. So I don't know. I really do love this room. I think it looks great. And my favorite perspective is from here, looking over at the crystals like that. I think that's just gorgeous. And the mushrooms agree with me. Or they think I'm hilarious. I mean, either is fine. I don't mind being the butt of someone's joke if it makes them happy, you know?
Good to know.
I'm actually surprised that the little squishy has ventured out of his room into here. Oh, and the wisps. Oh, the wisps have come out of their spot. Okay, well, this is an idea that I took from Kaitlynn also, because she has a brilliant mind, and she had a little area. She had many more trees than I've got here, I will say, and I think more wisps as well. I only have 3, and I think only 2 of them are over here, so I don't know where the other one has run off to. But there are 3 wisps that hang out here with the mystical door and their houses on either side. But I wanted this place to look confusing a little bit. I wanted it to look like something bad could have happened. So we've got like this person who looks like they've had a bad situation and everything, and all of the mushrooms over here that have overgrown in front of the doorway. We've got this mystical pool on this side and the mystical pool on this side. But then I also wanted it to feel like there's maybe some lore about something that happened here, and it's kind of a site where people come and check out. Like, obviously here, set up tiki torches, have a picnic in front of the area where whatever the mystery is or whatever the legend is has occurred. I did not flesh it out more than that. I didn't come up with some kind of a theory about what thing occurred in this area that people are, you know, coming here to have a look at. But that's what it is. That's what I was going for.
So that was the long way to say, this is an area in which an event occurred that has become legendary and now tourists come to see it. I mean, how can you be so ineloquent?
I think it works. I think it's interesting. I think with the little wisps living here, it's interesting. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, I will say I used a summer item. Look at me. Amazing, using something other than spring in a spring base. Good job, me. Not really that good. And then again, aquarium window. I have to say, Kaitlynn, brilliant idea. I nabbed it from you because these walls looked obviously like I was inside somewhere, and then I chucked this up and it feels like I'm outside. So even though we're looking underwater rather than looking at maybe the tree line or something that looks more like outdoors, I love this. I love mostly I love that it's on the wall, so it's not taking up my floor space and I can push the distance quite far out and fit everything in that I want to. So thank you, because without you, I don't know that I would have put aquarium windows in this space. Smart. All right, then up here it's meant to look a little more man-made. So obviously we've got the planters going all the way along the top of the stairs. Oh, and you can see another window back there. Also, ceiling is still cherry blossom canopies and oak canopies all above. Sorry, I should have said that. And I think I've got the vine walls over here. Yep, the vine wall, and that's the back of the stone cascade, both of them facing the opposite direction. So in here, the back is facing us. But they worked perfectly. I did actually have other walls I could have put in front, but I didn't feel the need to, and so I saved those 2 spaces so that I could put other furniture items in, because that works fine for me. But you can see I've got the window over there. So that's on the pillar at the end of the steps, and then on this side I have obviously used the trellis again, and then I've put a branch there that's quite thick and big to go across and make it look more outdoorsy here. And then up the top I've also put that planter because I wanted it to cover that wall as much as possible so it looks like we're outdoors. And I wanted it to feel like this area is overgrown. Like you're not sure whether there's actually somewhere to go through here. And that's why I've also got the secret door. So I won't activate it because I like the idea of just walking straight through. Ha-ha! Like magic. All right, so on this side, you can see, yeah, this is where I've used the majority of things that are not spring. So this is kind of where someone lives. Where is my third wisp? I swear, I have 3. I promise there's 3. I just don't know where one of them has gone. He's run off.
Well, I happen to think it's quite obvious that he's upset with you because you only provided 2 houses, and he doesn't want to share.
So this room is meant to be someone who's here trying to capture footage, not actually capture footage or find out the mysteries of the wisps. So you can see she's got a camera stored here. I actually wanted to get a still shot camera as well. Couldn't get it in time, so I just went, all right, fine. Then you can see here she's got books and little jars and things where I would assume she collects bits and pieces to try and work out what the wisps are or what they can do, that sort of thing. And this is supposed to look like somewhere where it's overgrown. So you can see from the outside that it's meant to look like we're not really sure if we can go in there or not. So that there's someone clearly observing from in here. Hey, guys, I need to get past! Okay. I also wouldn't have minded having a telescope as well in here, but just at the time couldn't get it. If I do in the future, I might like eliminate maybe the rocking chair or something so that I can do it. But for the moment, this is what we've got. She's got a place where she sits and gets ready and a bedroom down this end with plants on the walls, tables, and the chalice on the wall, which is just something that I really like the look of, and the colors went well. And then a fireplace because I like open fireplaces. I don't even really know why, because I'm not a really big fan of smoke. And every time I go camping, the smoke follows me. But an open fire is nice. And I like the way it looks, so I put that there. And so I just wanted it to look like, I guess, a live-in observatory. It's not 100% perfect, but it was good enough and I like it. All right, so let's go through here. This is, I can't even tell you what I was trying to do here because it feels like indoor and outdoor kind of meshed together, to be honest, like some kind of a cave walkthrough. It's got a little bit of furniture. It's got, on the floor, this is wooden, but I think it looks more like a carpet, I'm going to be honest. And I was just trying to cover up this floor a little bit because it looked very technological, but I didn't cover it up as much as I would have liked. But I do kind of like that there's a doorway here and there are vines covering all of it, so it looks like it may lead somewhere important. And I do like the wall and ceiling coverage in here, even though the sunstone lamp does look like an indoor item. I still thought it looked really cool. It's like so. Oh, there's the other wisp. Where have you been? That's unacceptable. I don't know why he's arguing with me, honestly. You should have just stayed home. Go back to your house. We'll talk later. All right, so let's go through this area and the down below area. I was dressing at the same time. So both of these areas are full of the items that I wanted there and was trying really hard to make it look like natural forest. So unlike a lot of things I do, it's not symmetrical. And I like that about it quite a bit. So let's walk through. I have a mammoth stored? A mammoth, it's not an actual mammoth, but I was trying to make it look like he's inside of a cage and hidden in there. Mostly because he fit really well. And it seemed relevant. And then most of this ground, I will say, is firefly grass, but not all of it, as you'll see. We've got the Celtic window there, which this is St. Patrick's, as well as a lot of the rocks that are in here. So see, look, combining things together, I can do it. I'm going to get better at it. But there is a lot of St. Patrick's in here and the downstairs, as you'll see. I've got the rainbows going across. That's meant to lead you on the path that you're heading. And in between the two, so when you're standing here, you can see rainbows on either side of you. And you've got this eye. I can't tell you what exactly I was thinking, except that I thought it looked really cool. And I thought it looked like this is meant to be an area for something, right? I don't know what. So I left it like that. I feel like we should go down first. You can see I've blocked off this staircase to the best of my ability with what I had. You can see through, but it is blocked upstairs. I did put a little bit of something up there so that if someone did decide to like break this and breach this area here, they would come upon something that makes them stay here and not go into the upstairs because you're not meant to get access from here. And also the cauldron is fun because it has bubbles. Who doesn't love green gloomy bubbles? Like everybody doesn't love those. All right, back down. So then over here, I have the zoo fence or gateway, I should say, put right at the top of the stairs there. And I've got the trees that are kind of grown around and inside of it with a statue. I wanted it to look like this originally was an entry to something with a statue as kind of like the statue that they have in an entryway or the guardian of the area. And I think it works. It's also meant to look overgrown and like it's not really in use anymore, which I also think it does. So let's head down. I did try to use the staircase corners to put some stuff on. So that's why I've got the window there. I've got the statue. I've got the cat statue. Oh, sorry, the fox statue. Don't know why I thought it was the cat. The cat one is clearly very different. And that one is from St. Patrick's. And then I've got a plant and some broken stone there. So it looks like things were intentionally put there, but they are just busted up and old. So hopefully that kind of translates. And I've got these pieces on the wall as well, just to still give it that old but was in use kind of feel that I'm trying to go with this base. You can also see the Star Sapphire symbol up there too, because this is an area that was theirs as well. At least that's what I want it to seem like. You can see I've got a doorway here that is uncovered and the grass is cut. So I want people to think this area, maybe people do travel through here. Maybe something else is going on, or, you know, this seems a little more well-traveled than the rest of the area. And I like the flower up there. I will say, I wish I can't, not enough space, but I would love to be able to cover this with ivy. Make the walls really seem like they're outdoors. But we can only use so much. Why is this wisp following me everywhere? I mean, you have a home upstairs. Why are you here?
No, he doesn't. You only built 2 homes, or placed 2 homes. And so this one has nowhere to live. That's on you.
He just likes me so much, you know. Who couldn't love this face?
I really don't think you want me to answer that.
Then I obviously have used whatever plant items I could find. So a great deal of these, I believe, are from Cursed? The bushes, all the different kinds. I think that's from Cursed, but correct me if I'm wrong. Then I also, of course, have palm trees that are from summer. I have rocks that are from St. Patrick's. I have this chair that isn't from any event at all. And I've got bits and pieces of pots and stuff down this end as well. You'll see. But over here we've got the Babbling Brook water flowing that is from St. Patrick's, with some flowers from spring and this pool so that the water is flowing from somewhere. Whether that makes sense or not, I don't know. I tried to surround this pillar with palm trees and bushes so that it would look like it's kind of outdoors still. And oh, I did use the eggs. I used the eggs down here. That's right. I actually remember doing that. So I've got the eggs down here with the new Genesis boulder. I used a lot of bits and pieces from elsewhere, didn't I? I'm actually kind of proud of myself with this stuff that I've used. Well done, me. Doesn't happen very often. And then, of course, I'm using these chairs again because they are kind of hard to place without them annoying me. So I like them here, where they're kind of out the way. Also, this grass on the ground is not from spring. This is actually from Cursed, I believe. And I like that you can kind of see through to the ground underneath. I actually wish that these pieces were larger because I would have used more of them and done it across this section as well. Made it look like grass has grown through a floor that previously existed. But unfortunately, the pieces are small, and even if I could get enough to cover everywhere, I would lose out on spaces for other furniture items because hitting the limit on this one. Obviously, my walls in here also, these are the doors from the Wayne Manor. I would have liked to have used something a little more green, but unfortunately, that's what I had. And also, for a couple of them, the Wayne Manor doors are the perfect size and length, and other walls would not have been, and I would have had to overlap them a little bit more, and then they clip a little. I don't mind so much overlapping walls, but when they're ones like vines and ivy and the cascade stone wall, or stone wall cascade, those ones, when they overlap, it's noticeable when they're clipping because they don't look the same, whereas some, if they're identical and they clip, it doesn't matter so much because you don't really notice it. But anyway, we've got these walls, and I'm just stuck with them for the moment. But this is obviously an entryway. Then through here, I've obviously covering some floor. We're going to pretend that I put those all exactly where I wanted them and wasn't just covering up spots and spaces that were gaps. Good. Alright, so this is I want to call it a bathroom, but it's more like a leisure room because there's no toilet and there's no sink. It's just this awesome, I was going to say spa. In Australia, we call this a spa bath. But I think in the US you call it jacuzzi, which I believe is actually a brand of spa bath, but everyone just calls it jacuzzi. Like, you know, Band-Aids are a brand of sterile strip, but we don't call them sterile strips, we call them Band-Aids no matter which brand we buy. So I think it's something kind of like that. So jacuzzi / spa bath. And I wanted this to look like it's in use but still bits and pieces are kind of overgrowing in here. And then I've got the harp, so you can listen to amazing music as you have your jacuzzi. Correct dance for this song. It's not at all. I don't have any slow dances. It should be a thing. Can DC put some slow dancing in to go with the harp, please? Thank you. That would be nice. All right, let's continue on. Then around here, I've hidden the amenities again. This was with a black crystal and a stone from St. Patrick's. I've used the vine dividers in here, which aren't my favorite just because they, the second that base that's on them, which is a wooden base, I don't know if you guys are aware, you can see it down there, that wooden bit on the bottom of the base sticks out on both sides. And the second that hits any surface that's part of your base, a wall, a pillar, whatever, it cannot go any further, it'll turn red. So you can't clip it through the wall to get it close up against it, and there's always a slight gap, which bothers me, so I don't use them very often. But they worked in here because there's nothing on either side that's going to go around, so it didn't make any difference. I also used the red mushrooms in here because this was before I had squishy. But also I prefer the glowing mushrooms where they are rather than the red because the glowing mushrooms are much larger and that room is much larger. I put a fridge over the top of this one because this area is supposed to look like it was used to live in. So even though I don't have a toilet or sink, or a bench to cook on, we've got a jacuzzi, we've got a fridge to grab food from, we've got this little area here where you can play the piano or sit and listen to someone play the piano. Just gotta highlight the right thing. There we go, highlight the piano. Actually, that's not me. Not me, I didn't break the piano. I would never break something. But yeah, it's supposed to look like a lived-in area that's kind of still in use. I used a lot of potted plants, didn't I? Oh, I don't know how many people do this, but this is the chandelier from Valentines. This is actually two of them overlapped together and then rotated slightly so that it looks like a large chandelier because it actually only has 3 prongs going out and I thought it looked quite small. And then my best friend decided to try this and I was like, you're a genius, I'm stealing that and now I have stolen it and I use it in my base because it's smart. I think 3 prongs on the chandelier looked minimalistic, a little bit unsubstantial, so I'm really happy with that up there too. All right. Oh, and this is the Wayne Manor carpet, if anyone is wondering. That's Wayne Manor, and Wayne Manor carpet over here too. All right, so then in here, my walls are mostly clothing racks. So you can see them going all the way around this side here, like so. And you can see the double bed I have created from from the Valentine's bedding. Actually, there's more than one set of Valentine's bedding, isn't there? But this is the one I was going for because I think it goes along with the theme of this base. It's supposed to look like the Star Sapphires had been here and either no longer are or have kind of moved their operations to somewhere else, like maybe through that doorway over there. But this is like a little bedroom setup. We've got the Star Sapphire symbols on the wall there. This is allowed to look a little bit more indoorsy. And I've got all of these racks of clothing all the way along here, plus the armories down here. I will say I tried to fit all my armories, but I ended up making one extra because I just thought this style looked really cool with this particular chroma. And I wanted her to look like she's made kind of rock and bone. I did try to do it with the actual stone skin, but it made the tail look less realistic, and also the skin tones didn't match as much. They matched less. So I kept the smooth skin on her upper thigh there. But yeah, I got excited and got creative, and then I was like, there's no way I can delete this style, and I can't delete my others because they're also amazing. So I just kept it, and now we have 5. But I was trying to make it look like this area had a whole bunch of clothing and stuff so that it's kind of a prep area or an area where people get ready to go and do something. I don't know what. Something or other. And I've obviously disguised the generator with this. You actually do have to whack your way through to get in there because I've blocked it right off. And then I've got this stump to disguise my gap on the floor that you can kind of see there, which, oh, actually you can't because my head's in the way. There, you can see it there. But we'll just pretend you can't see that. I disguised this as best I could, but I had run out of oak trees. I was originally going to put quite a large oak tree there to hide it, but I didn't have any more, so that's what we have now. And, of course, the crystals growing out from here as well. I wanted it, you know, I know I'm being repetitive and I apologize, but we all get it, right? Star Sapphire base, that has been overgrown and abandoned, and now is being used maybe for something else, maybe not. People are barely here. Maybe people come and like picnic or visit because there's mystery surrounding this area. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Did that make sense? I think it made sense.
Yes, it made sense. Stop telling us. We got it the first time.
It totally made sense. Okay. All right. Let's go back upstairs. Oh, I forgot to mention I have rain. So this rain over here is falling up. And then the rain over here is falling down. I am aware that that's a little bit irritating, but as I'm running through, I don't really notice the difference between the two. And I wanted it to seem damp or outdoors. And I couldn't do anything on the walls because I didn't have enough. So this is what I did instead. And frankly, I really like the rain. See, when I'm standing here, I don't really notice that anything's going up. It all just seems like rain falling down to me. Okay, so then over in this little section here, you can see I've got statues surrounding a pool. I've got the dragon and the stag. They are both from St. Patrick's, and the pool is there with the babbling brook flowing into it. I have a lot of rocks and palm trees in this area, kind of surrounding the middle pillar, because I've got water kind of flowing all the way around it. And I wanted to make it look as real as possible, so you can see the water is flowing from somewhere under there, and comes through and goes both ways, follows this path around as well, and we end up back at this rock pool at the front again. So all the water flows to here. I did actually want to make the water flow out of there and try to get it to go down with one of those floating rocks at one point, but it just wasn't working. Every way that I tried to put it, it wouldn't work. So I placed this piece here so the water is flowing in as well. Then over here I have disguised yet another amenity. This has sunstone rock that I received as part of my sunstone furniture package, plus a whole bunch of stones from St. Patrick and some plants and vines on the wall, an oak tree branch on the wall, and I think it's disguised quite well. I also used these, which I think are they spring? With the lamp from the sunstone base hidden inside of it. It's not really hidden though, is it? Just placed inside of it to make it look cooler, I thought. I still think it looks cooler. Then we've got here some new Genesis vines and boulders. In the back there you can see that I have one of the chairs and one of the wardrobes, or two wardrobes, because I was just filling that space trying to make it look like there was growth back there. So it's not as hidden as I would like, but I do think that that covers the fact that that is just empty otherwise. So it kind of worked. We just ignore it. Okay, good. All right, then most of the trees in here I will say are palms, but there are a couple of oaks, ones that were attached to the pieces of flooring that I was using. So actually, I don't know if you'd call that an oak. I actually don't know what tree that is. The ones that are attached to the Bubbling Brook stuff from St. Patrick's, they are in here just because they were attached to it and I needed the Bubbling Brook. So can't do much about that. I've got the mystical door right there as well that leads to interesting places, and an oak tree right there to cover up that wall. I've got this section here with the really large crystal, and when I put the crystal there, I thought, I feel like there should be something more than just the crystal, so I chucked the sunstone throne in with a couple of the lamps, as they're called, which frankly I just think look like glowing crystals, so I think they're really beautiful, and placed it around there to make it look like this place was used for something to do with the crystals, but don't know what. Don't ask follow-up questions. Okay. But I think it works. Like, I think it looks really nice. And when you stand back and have a look, it looks like that area is, like, hidden behind a whole bunch of trees and hasn't been used in quite some time, especially with the firefly grass, which is quite long. All right. Let's go up. Once again, I have tried to make this corner have something in it. So I grabbed a bunch of the oak branches that you can get for the walls. I've put some up high, some behind me over there, you can see. And then I've crisscrossed some through the two walls here. So it looks like something is growing through and maybe around like a really large vine. I don't know, but something, just something that made that not look quite so bare, because I was running low on furniture. And honestly, this upstairs is probably going to be a little anticlimactic because I want more. Like another 300, get us up to 1,000 in here, and I can probably make it look a little bit better. But I was utilizing the entire base. I did at one point consider eliminating the entire top floor and bringing as much as I could down to fill the space. But I really liked the room in the back corner of this, so I didn't. So let's go up and have a look. Okay, so you can see this is quite a bit more sparse. This is the last area I furnished, I believe. I have a tree right there so that this looks like the wall was built against some plants, so it looks like it's still kind of outdoorsy, but you can clearly tell by the ground in here we are inside. Over here I thought, all right, well, let's make it look like this was utilized indoors for something, and I chucked in a lab. So this is a laboratory, obviously with all of the equipment in there. I wanted it to be overgrown with all of these plants and things above because it matched the overgrowth that they had on the tables below, and it looks like it hasn't been used for ages. And I'm thinking, like, the reason the sparring target is in here because he is the old scientist who has been trapped in here for a very long time with his experiments, and yeah, I just thought that's kind of the thing I was going for. But if you look at him, he clearly looks like a robot, so that's not helpful. But you know, that's why he's there. It's the only place he made sense. Then I placed the fire pit here, because it's really, really large, and I thought a nice big piece in here because I'm running out of things is probably a good idea. Tree next to it with the swing. It looks like an area where someone has sit and swung and been near the fire where it's warm, and that's probably the guy who was doing it. He's been here since he was a child. That's his swing. And he's outgrown it now. And his experiments clearly failed. In here is the room that I was not willing to part with. I've got a large pond, an aquarium window with the rock waterfall pieces underneath to make it look like water is flowing from out there into the pool. I've got this, which I think is just cute because it glows, and I thought it kind of filled that space and made it look a little more mystical in here. I also have cherry blossom trees and cherry blossom branches going around because I wanted to have that petal fall again. Then I've also got a chair and a little table here for someone to sit. And then this area is what I love. This is like, it's my favorite. If this was my room, I'd be happy. So it's got a chair and a table over here as well. It's overgrown with grass underneath. It's got trees growing up at the end with all of that petal fall. Ivy on the wall. The mystical green bed because green matched and kind of felt like it combined in with the grass and was kind of hiding a little bit, like that it was made from natural materials, hopefully. I mean, if you look too close, you'll know it isn't. But that's kind of what I was going for. And the stained glass from St. Patrick's behind the bed head, just because it looked pretty. I will say, if it was, I would rather have the moon window thing behind the bed head, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because there's a waterfall coming out of it. So I have done it before, but I chose not to this time. But yeah, I wasn't willing to part with this area. I thought it was really pretty. Oh, and it's got the lamps as well. I don't know if you can see the St. Patrick lamp on the wall there. I think they're the ones holding candles. I'm not 100% sure, but there's one on each side, and they look overgrown as well. So I assume this is the scientist's bedroom, and he has to walk through water to get there now. But yeah, I wish I had more furniture space. Like, I wish I could do more. So, but if we don't look at that room and we just go with everything else, I feel like it feels pretty full, and I feel like it seems outdoors for the majority of the time when you're in here, which is what I wanted. So, and I was really happy placing that under the stairs. Anyway. Hello, little wisp! And other little wisp, where's your brother? He was following me before. He's clearly not come home. He should listen to me, honestly. If I had to pick a favorite area in this base, it's this room. Because it's just beautiful. I wish that I could do the ivy on the walls, but I don't know. I love how everything works together. I love how I combined it. It's just nice outdoors area. And it has the squishies, which make it just cute. So, if you were interested in creating a spring base, you now have way too many places to find inspiration. Assuming that I could inspire anybody is a little bit presumptuous of me, don't you think? I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed this base tour. Hopefully it gave people ideas if they were looking for some. But I think if you draw any ideas, it's probably going to be from my friend's base and not mine. Because that was smart. So, thank you for touring my base with me. Have a good one, guys.